Let's talk about a general prologue and let us focus about subtle irony. Subtle. There's nothing really in our literature like subtle irony. Irony remains irony. But what makes it subtle, it's the fact that it is not very clear. It's not very overt. It's the irony is there, but it is hidden. You need to take time to understand the ironical twists and to interpret the ironical level for which the sentence has been used. And mostly it is used to provoke humor or to make the work look lighthearted or to bring out mockery. The merchant is a very proud man. He speaks much about how successful a businessman he is. He talks about his expertise in money laundering, in the business, which is illegal, of course, that he does. And the narrator simply tells us that despite all the pride and the vainness of his conversation, he is heavily in debt. We cannot doubt if we conveniently say that he is going for the pilgrimage to run away from his creditors, whom he owes a lot of money. The monk is supposed to live in a cloister, live a life of prayer, seclusion, hard work. Yet our monk prefers the world's pleasurable ways of life. Jumping horses and hunting is one of his best sports. And he hates reading. And the narrator buys his view. This highlights hypocrisy. He can be considered a square peg in a round hole. The wife of Bath is described as a worthy woman. But what a pity she's deaf. Her deafness is spiritual. Because she uses the church as a catwalk to express her beauty and maybe seek for the consent of men. She's very extravagant in her dressing and wants to be the first person to go to the altar for offertory. If another woman does so, she declines, and even declines charity, which is hypocritical. Above all, this worthy woman has been married 5 times in church, the same church that preaches polygamy. All because she is rich, and we suspect that she might have been using her money to influence the priest, thereby highlighting the corruption in the church. Above all, she's very promiscuous. She has had so many lovers in her youth. The prioress is supposed to live a life of simplicity, yet she's very worldly. She seeks a worldly recognition. Her dress is very extravagant. She's very courteous at table. She will not want the soup to touch her lips. And every time she will not dip her finger into the soup. She will wipe her mouth. We are made to understand that her behavior is rehearsed. It is not natural. This is hypocrisy. And she practices misguided charity. The food which she feeds her pets, fine white bread, roasted meat and milk, is supposed to be meant for human beings who lack, yet she prefers to give them to animals. That's hypocrisy. The friar is said to be the finest of his order. Yet, whatever he begs, He does not give it all to the other. He keeps some for himself. No wonder the narrator says he roams like a greasy porpoise. He's hypocritical. He gives people the impression that he has a special license from the Pope to listen to confessions. He is materialistic. For whatever thing he does it purely for money. When people come to give confession, he does not care how sincere they are in their confession, but he is interested in the money that they give to him. He's lustful. He loves pretty young girls. To him, he gives pins of pocket knives. This could be maybe the girls with whom he had what? A relationship. In the merchant's prologue, January decides to get married at the age of 60 and searches for a woman among the many girls. And his choice falls on May, whom he considers to be an ideal wife. She's young, she's a virgin, she's beautiful. Nevertheless, she is unfaithful to him. She falls in love not with just any type of man, but with a servant. They flirt with one another under the same roof with her husband through letters. She prints a photocopy of the key that gives entry into the garden of love with the intention that they are ready to have intercourse, intimacy with Damian in the garden of love, the special place which January had wanted to spend time with his wife. The most ridiculous is that she is even ready to have Damian on top of a tree. And when the magic happens, that January mystically regains his sight through the help of Pluto, she comes up with one fat lie to justify her presence with Damian on top of the tree, holding back to the infidelity that is inherent in marriage and how marriage is a place of bondage for men, according to the merchant. January considers Damian to be a faithful servant. And when he learns about his illness, he is the one who instructs May to visit Damian in his room and comfort him. And Damian is not actually sick. He is lovesick because he loves May and uses the opportunity of her presence to profess his love to her through a letter, which she reciprocates, and both start communicating with one another. And they make plans of how to meet in order to have each other, highlighting infidelity.